Okay, guys, let's look at the question for dining at a restaurant. It says Jada has a meal in a restaurant. She adds up the prices listed on the menu for everything they ordered and gets a subtotal of $42. A is saying when the check comes, it says that they also need to pay $3.99 in sales tax. What percentage of the subtotal is the sales tax? Okay, part B says after tax, the total is $45.99. What percentage of the subtotal is the total? And then it said part C, it said they actually paid $52.99. The additional $7 is a tip for the server. What percentage of the subtotal is the tip? All right, guys. So I saw a lot of verbiage that you guys may not be familiar with. So let's underline this and find it on, or highlight this and find it on this receipt, okay? So I saw this word subtotal, and the subtotal is right here, okay? I saw something said, let's see, total, because that's imperative too. That's on the receipt, okay? And I saw something that said the additional tip, which I don't see that on the receipt, but hey, why wouldn't it be on the receipt? Okay, we'll get to that. And then I see something that says sales tax, okay? So the reason why I highlighted that, because, at this age, you guys know that taxes exist, but you probably kind of really messed around with it too much. So that's why, or I'm not sure, what your experiences are, but I want to make sure you guys know which item I'm talking about, just in case you're not familiar with the terminology. All right. So for A, it says, now let's go back to the problem. It says, what percentage of the subtotal is the sales tax? So I saw subtotal. Let me highlight that. And I see some keywords that we learned about in our previous lesson, which is of, is. Okay? So I'm going to write that down. Is over of, percent over 100. Okay? And the question is asking what percentage. So percentage is not missing. Well, the percentage is missing. I apologize about that. And it said what percentage of the subtotal. So it's of the subtotal, which is $42. And it says is the sales tax, which is $3.99, which is equal to percent over 100, but percent is missing. So we're going to do the high hill method. We want to cross multiply and divide by $42. Keep in mind that I am using the calculator. 3.99 times 100 divided by 42.00, and it should be 9.5%. That's the tax rate. Okay. Now keep in mind that tax rate is in percentage form, but if we had to turn it into decimal form, it would be a completely different, look different. Okay. So then for part B, it says after tax, the total is $45.99. What percentage of the subtotal is the total? Okay. So of the subtotal, because it's of the subtotal, is the total. Now, the is part is the total. Okay, so do you think the percent is going to be over 100 since the numerator is over 100? If you said yes, you are absolutely correct. So you're going to cross multiply and divide by 42. Okay, and I'm getting 109.5%. Okay, and I'm gonna circle my answers for you guys. All right. Oh, I see a wonder. I wonder what's the connection between the this answer and that answer, because I see some numbers that they look like they have in common, but hey, I just want to get you guys' mind going. But let's go to the next part. It said they actually pay $52.99. The additional $7 is a tip for the server. What percentage is of the subtotal is the tip? Okay, so the subtotal is $42, and the is the tip. So the tip was $7. Now notice you don't see the tip on the receipt. Okay. All right. Now some of you guys at home made me see the connection. Like, oh, I think I know it's going to be Miss Randolph. But hey, we're going to cross multiply and divide by $42. So 7 times 100 is 700 divided by 42. And I'm going to drop the zeros because we really don't need those zeros. As a matter of fact, let me scratch them out so you can know at home you really don't need those zeros. Divided by 42. And it should be 16.666666. And we're going to round it to the nearest tenth, which is we're going to say 16.7%. About. Let's use that word, about 16.7%. Okay? So, let's move to question number 2. Now, question number 2, it starts off right here. So, the tax rate at this restaurant is 9.5%. Hence, that's our answer right there. Didn't want to say anything, but 9.5%. And it says after the subtotal, after another person's subtotal is $24.95. How much will their sales tax be? Okay. And then it said, and I'm going to kind of draw a line so you guys can know that this goes for that question and then this goes for the next question. It says some other people's sales tax is $1.61. How much was their subtotal? Okay, so now we're going to have to kind of work, well, not kind of, but we're going to have to work backwards. Okay, so it said the subtotal is $24.95. How much would their sales tax be? Now, you already know that the percentage is 9.5%. So I'm going to write this down at the top or at the bottom while I'm working. So the sales tax at this restaurant is 9.5%. So if I had to use this proportion tables, okay, 9.5% over 100 is equal to, well, let's let the subtotal be the whole, okay? $24.99. And what's missing is the is, because the is the percentage of sales tax, okay? And we're looking for the sales tax in dollars, in units of dollars, so the actual amount. So I'm going to cross multiply, I'm going to divide by 100. So it's going to be 24.95 or 24.95 hundredths divided by 9.5 or times 9.5 divided by 100. And since we're dealing with money, we need to round to the nearest hundredth. So it's going to be, so what I mean by rounding to the nearest hundred when we deal with money, because we don't deal with that third, we don't deal with this when we deal with money. Okay, so we're going to round to it. And our sales tax should be $2.37. Now I can add those two numbers together and figure out my total. So $24.95 plus $2.37, and that's going to give me 27, which I know it didn't ask us, but $27.32. Okay. So it says some others sales tax is $1.61. How much is their subtotal? So here we go. Now, but we know the percentage of the sales tax percentage at the restaurant, so we're gonna make our proportion tables, and we're gonna cross multiply and divide by 9.5, and it's gonna be 1 and 61 hundredths times 100 divided by 9.5. And their subtotal should be $16. And remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth. So it's going to be $16.95. Okay, here's what I got in my calculator. And remember, we're rounding to the nearest hundred. And what I mean by that is that we're paying attention to that 4. And we're looking at that 7 to see if that 7 is big enough to round that 4 up. And it was. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's all I have for today's lesson. If you guys were confused on any portion of this lesson, make sure you visit your manager's Google Meet session. All right. So I'll see you guys in tomorrow's lesson. And I hope you guys have a great day.